Hi, this is Karen White of Divine Time Astrology. And tonight I was searching the web for something interesting on relationships to talk to you about. And I found a few articles on Dennis Quaid and his marriage to Meg Ryan. He said in an interview recently that his marriage to Meg was his most successful marriage. And he's been married 3 times. They were married for 10 years, and he said it didn't work out because he was jealous of Meg's success. He felt like he disappeared in the relationship. But in the Vedic Compatibility technique, which I'm going to show you tonight, a slightly different story can be seen. Not that he's lying in any way, just that there is another reason for how he felt, and even if Meg's career hadn't taken off the way that it did, they likely would have split up anyway. So, Dennis's birth time was not available, but you can still see quite a bit about him and his relationship with Meg Ryan without it, because it's all about the moon, especially how far his moon is from Meg Ryan's moon in their birth charts. In order for the energy to flow in the most harmonious way, it's best if the man's moon is at least 14 lunar mansions away from the woman's. There are 27 lunar mansions in Vedic astrology, and when you were born, your moon was transiting through one of those 27 lunar mansions. It's very important in Vedic astrology because it shows your emotional character, what you're like emotionally, and many other things besides, but it's really key in the Vedic compatibility technique. There are other important considerations too, of course, but the moon is the most important planet in relationship compatibility. Now, let's look at their compatibility. When the man's moon is too close to the woman's moon, which can be seen here in the Sri Dirga. Sri Dirga is a Sanskrit word. It means long woman, and it has to do with how far away from the woman's moon the man's moon is, and in particular how far away his lunar nakshatra or lunar mansion is from hers. And in order for the energy to flow in the most harmonious way, it's best if the man's moon is at least 14 mansions away from the woman's. When the man's moon is too close to the woman's moon, there's a short circuit in the creative energy. Instead of it flowing from the man to the woman, which is ideal, it flows from the woman to the man. And it's even worse if it's less than 9 lunar mansions away from the woman's. This can make the man feel like he can't keep up with her, that her mental process is too fast for him, that she's always miles ahead of him, ready for the next stage in the relationship and many other things before he is, and that she's kind of pulling him along. It also can make him feel like she doesn't respect him for what he does and for what he thinks, and that she doesn't really need him either. So this reversal of energy here forces her to play the masculine role and him to play the feminine role. This is happening on an energetic level, of course, and it's all the more difficult because of that. It's hard to put your finger on exactly what is wrong. So, of course, you start looking at your partner to see what they're doing that could be causing the problem. You're looking at yourself to see what you could be doing, and it could have nothing to do with what each other is doing. The force of this really starts becoming noticeable after 6 months together, and then it just tends to get progressively worse over time. Even if both people in the relationship know what's going on astrologically in their compatibility, it takes a lot of patience, discipline, and compensation to make up for it. If you don't know what's going on, then you blame yourself or your partner, or you go back and forth between doing that. This is especially painful when you have other attraction and compatibility factors that got you together in the first place. You feel like you love each other and that there's a reason for being together, so why is it so painful? And we can see here too, look at his sun, the outer wheel here is Dennis's planets, and the inner wheel is Meg's planets. And his sun is here in Aries, and her moon is in Aries, and they're very close in degree. This alone is a very strong attraction thing between a couple. It's like the male and the female sides coming together. It's a type of a psychological marriage, actually. I'll talk a little bit more about other reasons why they got together in a moment. But they have another energetic problem in their relationship too that no doubt added to their problems. And that is that they have an excess of the windy element. And that's what this means here, naughty. It has to do with the excess of elements, if there is an excess of the elements, and you can have an excess of the windy element, fire element, or water element, and they have an excess of the wind element. And this is a rather chaotic energy, and it just makes it hard for the couple to stay grounded and focused, and it especially affects the woman more over time. She starts feeling more and more insecure in the relationship. So just as the reversal of the energy here can be enough to cause the partners to seek outside reassurance through affairs, adding the excess of the windy element can tip it over the edge. Now, I already pointed out the sun and the moon here as a strong reason why they were attracted to each other. In the Vedic compatibility, we can see a couple of reasons why several reasons why they got together in the first place. They have, 20 points total here, which is what you need for marriage. And they have this extra special thing here called Mahendra, which indicates a type of, it's one of the extra special wow things you can have with someone. It makes you feel like you're meant to be together. It gives you a strong feeling of meaning between you, and it gives a long life, and it gives a special affinity and friendship, as well as longevity and well-being, and it can help to make up for some of the other blemishes that the couple may have in their compatibility. And when you have this, you tend to stick it out longer. Just because you feel like you're supposed to be there, that there's some purpose for being together. Megan and Dennis, they have a son together, and that could be part of why they stayed together as long as they did. And now they happily co-parent their son together, even though they're no longer married. When Meg had an interview with Oprah about her marriage, she said that she should have left sooner. But this is why she didn't. This is a big reason why she didn't. And here's another reason. It's not just the moon. Now, the moon is the most important planet, but there are other planets that you can look at as well to see the compatibility. And of course, in a love relationship, Venus is going to be very important. And when we look at their Venuses together, the score is even higher. The energy is flowing in the right direction, and there is no excess of any of the elements. They have 3 out of 4 points for their physical chemistry together. She feels comfortable with what he has to offer. So this could have helped a lot as well. So one of the things that I love about astrology so much is that it can be such a healing information. And I really wish that Meg and Dennis could know that while they individually may have had some relationship capacity issues, which by the way we all do, and I'll talk about that next week, they had some really difficult energetic strikes against them that made their marriage in the public eye last for 10 years, making that a really remarkable thing. And that they don't have to blame themselves quite as much as they probably do. And it would be healing, and or each other, actually. And it would be healing for them to know that they weren't crazy for getting together in the first place, and that they did very well with the difficulties that were inherent in their compatibility. And having a relationship in the public eye and being famous is difficult enough. And you add that to some of these other issues here, and maybe some capacity issues. You know, the fact that it lasted 10 years and that they're able to be friends now and co-parent their son, that really is a remarkable thing. Now, if you have a relationship you would like to look at, perhaps a present relationship, if there's something that you feel is not quite right, there's a difficulty you can't figure out, this could very well show what's going on and how you can deal with it. Or if you want to look at a past relationship to see why it didn't work out, I call those relationship autopsies. Or maybe even a possible future relationship if you have the birth data of the other person. We can look at this and the relationship capacity and some other relationship compatibility techniques too, which I use in addition to this, to see what's going on. So this is Karen White of Divine Time Astrology, and until next week, good night.